So this first video is going to be just me going through and learning it again for myself. I haven't messed with it in a year. Hopefully it all comes back to me, but this one is going to be a long video that might take some time. So let's look at this. So if we go to assets, I have a slightly different test scene. I messed around with adding in some fancy models, and that really increased the size of my scene by a lot. But anyway, I'm just gonna move the 3 prefabs over. So I'll use the same ones that you will by going to Canvas and downloading it from here. So, modules, scroll down to Interaction Prefabs.unity package, and then download it. 6.23 megabytes. Open the file. No, that's not what I want. What I want to do is just drag it into here. Yes, everything is fine. Looks like it's gonna rewrite some things. Here's the prefabs and the distance trigger just for fun. And then it's going to overwrite some of these. Do I want to let it do that? I feel like no. But let's do it anyway and see what happens. Okay, so it should be imported, and there should be some interaction prefabs, which I can then drag into my scene. So I'll maneuver this one so that it's over this way. Make these gizmos a bit smaller. Let's go ahead and I'll just center it between these two. Let's focus on the center. And then I can move this to view. And then I can just focus on moving it down to where it needs to go. Yeah, looks good. So I'll do the same thing to the next one. Circular drive, linear drive. Focus on these 2 spots. Game object move to view. And then just rotate this down. Move this down. Okay. Cool. So you'll be able to spawn right here and then teleport over this way. And then I'll have 3 things that will happen in each one of these frames. I think that'll look really nice. And I'll be able to teleport specifically to these points, so I don't actually need the hallway to go as far as that. What is that thing? Just hanging out? I think that was just there for scale. Okay, so let's see if I can hit play and see if I can mess with these just as is. Okay. What do I see in here? Oh, I guess I kind of see it. Let's see, turn that off. And my camera's kind of moving around, but not really. Ugh. Okay, so let's turn this off. I think I might have had a screenshot camera, yes, which needs to be turned off. What happens now? Does my whole screen freak out? Okay, I think I'm in. Here's my controller. Yeah, here we go. I can look around. My foliage looks okay. That's nice. That's going to look really good later. And then I can teleport this way and teleport this way And turn sideways. Oh, hey, look, it even makes the prefabs. Oh, that's cool. So can I reach out far enough, or am I going to smash my computer screen? Maybe I can roll my chair back. Teleport back over there. Teleport back over there. And then reach forward. Ah! So I don't even have to press any buttons on the controller. And click to drag. You can actually get other objects to press down on the buttons sometimes. Maybe not. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's turn back this way and let's teleport to this one, and the linear drive moves. So having it built in and having it just work is great. I think, so one thing to notice is that it has a little bit of inertia. If you let go of it, you can watch it move slightly. That's cool. Okay, so let's look at the next one. The linear drive works okay with the trigger, and it works a lot better if you use the grip. So left and right, and that's all there is to it. I did want to check out my foliage a little bit closer if I could. Yeah, you can kind of tell that it's a plane, but otherwise it looks really slick. And over there, a couple different grass textures. Sweet. I am very pleased. I should probably maximize on play, or at least make this game view a little bit bigger for you, the viewer. Okay. So I've got my 3 things in there. Oh, you couldn't see the game view either because my camera's in the way. I'm glad I moved that around. So how do we do something with this? If we look at our button and we open it up, the hover button doesn't have anything on it, and so we're looking for the control that spawns a new button in. So teleport point, button, here's the button. And this button effect script is the specific script that we are going to reproduce to make it do something else. So if we double click on this button effect script, we can see Unity Engine, System Collections, Unity Engine Scene Management, using System, Namespace, Valve. We can probably skip this, and so our actual script will start like this. So on button down, on button up, and color self. Renders, children renderer. Huh. So on button up, and then given a color. From hand, trigger, hapter, and then here's color self again. Okay, so on button down calls this color self function. On button up also calls this color function, and essentially all it's doing is saying, hey, let's change the children. You can see get components in children. Let's change the color to cyan, or let's change the color to white. So let's reproduce this as simply as we can. I'm going to go to the Assets folder. I'm going to go to my Scripts folder. I'm going to create a new script. And we will call this button test for now. We could probably name it button controller and just morph it in to be what we actually want. But let's go ahead and build this roughly the same way with a void on button down. And we can say something chill, like debug.log, the button has been pressed. Void on button up. So couldn't get more chill than that. Extremely chill. We don't need these, so we can get rid of those. Do these need to be public? Yes, they do. Public, public, and private. So we'll add public to both of those. And just for fun, we're going to try this hand from hand and see if we can trigger a haptic pulse. So that's just a rumble, but the HTC Vive has a really precise rumble effect. Oh, sure. Okay, well, that's going to be required if we're going to be in the interaction sample, I think. Can I do using SteamVR? Can I use, oh, valve.vr? Let's see if I can do this. Cool. And is it just in the regular VR? No, it's specifically in the interaction system. So when I save that, this is for using hand for rumble. Okay. And let's change this haptic pulse to, well, let's leave it at 1,000 first and then see if we can shorten it or make it longer and see if we can just play with it. Okay, the button has been let go, the button has calmed down, and we're just looking for debug.logs. And so, okay, we got to apply it, right? Here's our button. And it has an interactable. It has a hover button script. And this hover button script works... How does it work? Just like a UI button. It has an on button down and an on button up. And it has a hand that can be sent to it. So we're going to add this component... What are we going to add? Button tests. We're going to remove the button effect script, and the object we're going to assign is itself. So in the scene, button. We can also drag it from here. And then we select the specific function that we want under button tests. And then on button down, hand, and button tests, on button up. And so it's just going to run those when the button is pressed. And so we can look at this moving part and local move distance. It only moves by 0.5 meter. We could change that to be less, you know, 1/4 meter. Engage at %95, disengage at %0.9. So you don't accidentally get it to 9 and then just, you know, a little margin of error. We could have this engage at 0.5. We'll try to do it the default way, and then we'll start messing with stuff. Come on. There we go. And let's see if my controllers still have any charge. Okay. All right. On. There we go. And teleport over here, teleport over there, turn sideways. Notice that nothing happens, but we do get our debug.logs. Oh, and there's some rumble, I think. Maybe. Let's see. Nah, I'm not really getting any rumble. Oh, I did get a little bump. So, yeah, at a certain point it starts rumbling, but I kind of think that's related to touching things and not to having it activate. So might have to look into that some more. So let's say that we just wanted to spawn another cube. So we could build a 3D object cube. Let's put this on the ground. Let's make it size 2. right above it, right there, we're just going to instantiate a cube and add a rigid body right here. So public void build cube. Game object cube is equal to game object dot create primitive type dot cube, and cube dot add component rigid body, and cube dot get component rigid body dot material dot color is equal to random dot color HSV. And this is not a big deal. Okay, what's going on here? Rigid body doesn't contain a definition because I don't want a rigid body. I want a renderer. There we go. And let's go ahead and change the cube size to 0.5. Okay. Oh, I didn't tell it where to create it. My bad. So we need a serialized field, private transform cube spawn. Here's our button. There's our cube spawn, which we'll drag into here. Now we'll try it. Oh, you know what? We could probably add the interactable and throwable components. And then we could make a bunch of cubes that are actually pick-upable. I can't really tell if it's working. Can you guys? All right. No. Why not? Because I didn't call it. Well, I made a really cool function, but I never called it. That was funny. Okay, why don't you work? I'm going to work on you later. And I'm going to move the cube spawn to a much more interesting location. Well, and this is essentially exactly what the other script did, right? Okay, one more time. Nothing. Why not? I get the button has been let go, but I don't get the button has been placed. Why? So here's an error. Unity engine.object cannot be converted to VR interaction hand. Maybe I can track that down later. All I get is let go, has been let go. I don't get this other debug.log. Is that somehow required? It can't be. That doesn't make any sense. Come on, I'm here. There we go. No. something changed. None hand. Oh, I need to attach a hand, so I can do that, I think. Player, SteamVR objects. That doesn't make sense. Left hand, right hand. Does that change? Huh. I wonder if it, like, gets assigned. So far it doesn't. And so that's gotta be why there's an error. Because it doesn't have this here. So that's fine. We're gonna comment that out, and then we're gonna remove this and save this. So we just removed the reference to the hand. I was just trying some fancy haptics, but if it's gonna break everything, I'll just take it out. Button tests, on button down. Okay, and it's creating them in the wrong spots, but it is creating my cubes. It's also creating it's flowers. That's fine, why not? I don't know. But I'm not so interested in messing with it right now. So I need an animation that I can scrub through. I wish I had a Kiva block tower handy. You know, one that was smashed or something like that. And honestly, my time is my own, so I might as well just make one. Be a great excuse to learn Blender, but I don't have that much time. Okay. So Kiva block is kind of like that. I could put in the exact dimensions, but I really don't want to. Okay, so if you're in meters, what size do I want you to be? I don't want you to wake up and turn off and on again non-stop. Just stay off. I want you to be 1 meter by 0.1 meter by 0.2 meters, 0.3 meters. No. 0.5 and 2. That's what I want. Okay, so let's build a couple of these. Make sure they're instances. Select all 3, drag them up. Okay, rotate these. Let's turn angle snap on. Okay, let's see what we've got. We've got something that'll probably work. Yeah, so let's select all 6. And let's shift click up. And let's make, I don't know, a few of these. And now we've got a tower. So we can select any one of these. Right click to show the Mass Effect toolbar. And then we can apply, make this a dynamic object, right? dynamic rigid body. We can set the preset to be, I don't know, cardboard sounds fun. Is there a wood option? No, not really. Okay, so you're dynamic, and we obviously need a plane for the ground. Actually, I don't think we do. So I'm going to leave that out. And then we'll take a sphere. Something like that should work well. And we are simply going to animate the sphere. What are we going to animate the sphere doing? Rolling down and then smashing through it like that? Maybe at an angle. Okay, let's go to a top-down view. And so we'll turn auto key on, and we'll set the initial keyframe. And then we'll move to, I don't know, 30 frames. And I'm going to set this cube here. And then front, I want to set this down on the ground. Okay, so perspective view, turn auto key off, watch this go shakoom, like that. And we'll set this as a kinematic rigid body. And then we're just going to bake 100 frames and see what we get. Okay, that was super boring. So how can I make that better? I could add more frames. So let's do that. Let's go to my time settings. Let's set the FPS to 120. Start and end time, that sounds fine. Okay, we should get a lot more. And I also like these are a bunch of wasted frames mostly. But why did you pop up at the beginning? You don't, because you have more frames. Good. That's what I'm looking for. And then it's basically done by 400 frames. It's perfect. Let's bake it. Open this up, use ground collisions, global gravity, substeps, simulation, bake all. Okay. Now that that's baked, we can select everything in the scene. We can go to File, Export, Export Selected as Kiva Block Tower, and save. And under Animation, make sure we export the animation. Bake animation, sure. I don't think we have to do that, so I'm going to leave it out. Maybe the defaults are all fine. Okay, let's try defaults. Okay, one issue. Let's try, yeah, using the bake animation option may better address these options. Okay, so let's redo that and bake the animation this time. Okay, so back to Unity, and on the desktop, Kiva Tower obviously doesn't go in the scripts folder, and then we can just drag it into our scene. This is going to be sweet. Okay, so let's rotate you 90 degrees, and viewing it from here. Yeah, this looks good. Let's go ahead and change the size of this whole thing to like 3, so we can really get a better feel for the scale. Let's go to this Kiva Tower, and it should have an animation. Sweet. Okay. Okay. So this linear drive, let's take this apart. You know what, I'm going to stop recording and start on the next one. No, no I'm not. Table small, teleport area, teleport point, title canvas, animation, animation. So there is an animator here, and an animator controller, ball animation controller, and a linear animator, linear mapping, and animator. What is this linear mapping, though? Okay, so that's down here. And it has a value of 0. And that's it? Probably that's not it. Okay, so let's see if we can just change the animator. I've got a Kiva tower in here. It doesn't have an animator, so let's go ahead and add the animator. And it doesn't have a controller, so let's go ahead and create an animator controller. I'm just going to name this Kiva. And then what? We probably need to edit the actual controller to bring in the animation. Take 01, just like that. I think that should do it. I think so. Let's see what the other box looks like. So this guy, ball animator controller, yeah, just built that same way. The entry goes directly to this. So there's the animation, animator, and a linear animator. So I'm going to do the same thing to my Kiva tower. Linear animator. And the linear mapping is here. And the animator is here. And I think I want to start the handle to start at the beginning. I don't know. We'll see what we get. I imagine that when I hit play, this is going to be already mostly destroyed. Because it starts the animation, yeah, at the beginning. Alright, do you turn back on? I'm running into this issue where my controllers are dying. Okay, controller. There we go. You can see as I scrub through, I can scrub through and watch this happen minute frame by minute frame until my controller dies or just isn't seen again. There we go. I think there's just a dead spot where my microphone's in the way. So it's actually controlling two things, because the linear animator and the linear drive are just handling themselves, and my Kiva tower is listening. That is very satisfying. So like we said, there's a little bit of momentum. So if I slide it this way, it keeps going. Like let go in 3, 2, 1, let go. Let go. Let go. And that can be very fun to just, scrub through it and watch this animation in slow motion. Especially when it's as large as it is. So that's how you set that up. So what else can we do? Can we figure out a way to start this handle at 0? So with play mode off, I'm going to move this handle much closer to the start. And I'm going to hit play and see what I get. Okay, so this handle is close to the start now. And if I wanted to turn off this yellow sphere, I could do that. The other thing that might be fun to do is duplicate this Kiva tower and actually set its scale to like 0.3 by 0.3. And let's just move it. So that it's on top of this. So let's set this 0.2, maybe 0.1 even. We could actually watch it being blown up in real time, which is pretty cool. So we can move this start and end. We can even move this beginning and end if we wanted to. If we wanted the start to go over here and the end to be over here, that will change where everything starts. If we moved the start to be right here, this would be nearly at the beginning. So it's just taking the percentage between start and end and calculating that as where we want to scrub in the animation. Okay. So let's have a look at the circular drive and see what we can see with that. So if we can zoom in on my screen a little bit, there's a circular drive, the pedestal, the teleport point, title canvas, drive parent, and cylinder and tiny spheres just for looks. So drive parent doesn't have anything on it, and the cylinder itself, just this cylinder, has everything that we need. So this is all cylinder stuff, and then we have interactable, and then we have a circular drive, axis of rotation. So maybe you steer it, maybe it's a horizontal, like facing up kind of valve. Versus the y-axis versus the z-axis. Child collider, linear mapping, none, hover lock, limited rotation. Let's try this. Limited rotation minimum, limited rotation maximum. Okay. So, and then we can have on max angle to change that. So starting angle 0, rotate game object. Debug text, out angle, okay. So I like this negative 45 and 45. Let's not freeze on minimum, but let's limit this and then limit this and limit this. Actually, can we just limit those two? We won't have it do anything yet. I just want to know if I can make it stop. And another thing I'd like to try, just to kind of give you an idea of what can be done, is we create a 3D object cube, set it to be skinny, and then set it to be higher up, like that. And what that will let us do is it will act as a kind of handle that we can grab up here, actually. Hypothetically, we'll see if that's actually the case. Okay, so let's play. So first things first, does it stop? No, it does not stop. Second thing, can I grab the handle? Yes, I can. So if you want to make a cylinder that's very small, and then a handle up for it, you can build a lever instead of a valve kind of steering wheel. Yes. Okay, so let's look at the cylinder, and let's turn on limited rotation and see if it's just that bit that I needed to do. Okay, and grab. Okay, so I can't grab it further than that, and I can hopefully, I think, drag it the other way, but no, it seems kind of frozen. Freeze on min, freeze on max. Yeah, I don't want that. So let's see if I can actually just edit it now. No, I'll go ahead and restart that. So don't freeze, don't freeze. Okay. Doesn't freeze, but also doesn't let me move it past that. And so now, if we attached a linear drive to that, we can sample what the rotation is as a number. So we can affect, like, let's say it's a train engine, right? If it's positive, we go forward, and if it's negative, we go backwards. And we can speed ourselves up and slow ourselves down and apply forces one way or the other. There's all sorts of fun stuff we can do with this. Okay, so let's... What can we do with this? Out angle. Is a linear mapping what I want? Let's look at the script for this. Okay, so this just gives us a value back. That can't be easier. That's really easy. Let's demonstrate this. You can see the value right here. I'm going to hit play and scroll between the start and the end. I should probably put this end somewhere more reasonable. And let's just watch the value on that linear mapping. Because since it's public, we can take that into our own scripts. You can see it's set to 0.31 right now. I don't know, maybe you can see, maybe the resolution isn't high enough. And as I move this, yeah, the linear mapping just changes. So let me zoom in here. As I move this, that number changes to 1, down to 0, and then everywhere in between. So I'm going to go to our cylinder. And as a child of the drive parent, I'm just going to build a empty. And I will call this one linear mapping. I'll just add a linear mapping component. And on the cylinder, under circular drive, I'll add a linear mapping and see if the value updates. Okay. All right. Turn and grab. We're watching the linear mapping, and yeah, it goes to 8.5 to 1, and then down to 0. Oh, that is so cool. That's so cool. So let's build a simple function that listens to a linear mapping variable. So I'll build a game object, 3D object, cube. Let's build it out here a little ways, and then let's stretch it out to be like real wide. 10 is pretty good. 1, 10, and 10. Okay. Add component, circ drive test. I think I'm just going to have this spin based on a linear mapping. Which means that we need to be using valve.vr.interaction system. Okay, so we'll drag and drop that in, and that'll give us a value. And in update, we will do this dot transform dot rotate. We want to rotate around which axis? The x-axis, it looks like. We're going to rotate around that. Okay. So this dot rotate, and we might as well do something like map dot value plus 0.5 plus equals 0.5. What would that do? If it was 0, it was 0.5. Maybe we need to do minus equals 0.5. No, that's not what I want. All right, let's just take the same value. So map dot value times 60 degrees per second times time dot delta timed to make sure it's a second, and then 0, 0. So this number, map dot value will be between 0 and 1. And then times 60 means 60 degrees. And then time dot delta time constrains that to per second instead of per frame. So by default, this should start rotating because map dot value should be set to 0.5. But I did not set the linear mapping. So linear mapping. There we go. And if I grab this and set it down to 0, it stops spinning. And if I grab this and set it to 1, it spins faster. And if I grab this and set it to almost 0, it only spins a little bit. So let's increase that speed by a lot. Instead of 60, let's have it be 360. And just speed it up a lot. So that's 1 revolution per second, and then slow it almost all the way down. Okay, so let's do a couple more things with this. So let's multiply this by 1080. But let's change the range of our circular drive to negative 180 and positive 180, which means I can rotate it all the way around, but it'll stop. And sometimes it's better to do like 170 and 170. That way there's a little bit of like 90% and then roll it all the way back around to 90%, and that can be about it. We can also start the angle. Instead of at 0, we can have it start at negative 170. So it actually won't be rotating at all when we start hit play. Start hitting play. Oh, I mean, maybe I was wrong. Okay. Maybe I just didn't set it up the right way. Huh. Somehow I'm getting like a click. And it's based on the rotation. Oh, maybe it's not. What are you? Why are you clicking? Man, that's cool. Add a little bit of shadows and that'll look a million times better. yeah, this is the fun stuff we get to do in VR. Build these tools where you actually get to manipulate the game with your hands. Okay. Honestly, I think I've covered all three of those pretty well. What else could we do different, right? Like right now, I guess I want to talk about resetting where the handle is. So I obviously don't want you to, use these default assets. I want you to build your own assets. And so maybe the handle, instead of being a sphere, what's this attachment point? Huh. Wonder what that's for. So let's say that we just... Yeah, there's all this skeleton poser and haptic rack, and I don't think we need all of that. So what happens if I turn off the handle and build my own? So let's go to linear drive, create empty, and we call this new handle. And we make something like that. Let's rotate it 45 degrees. Let's make it skinnier, longer, skinnier. And then let's duplicate it, rotate it 90, and bring it here like this. And then what we'll do is we will match this to there. And so what I want to do is I want to drag the handle like this. How do I make this the handle? So what else is missing? So this interactable, right? Interactable. And the handle attach, use hand object attachment point. Interactable hover events. Linear drive script. Okay, so this script is another part of it. So what's the start position? What's the end position? Where do you want the value to go? Reposition the game object. Maintain momentum. Hey, that's misspelled. And then momentum rate. So let's go to our new handle. Let's add a linear drive. And we can use the same start and end positions, but these are just empty game objects, so you could absolutely create your own. And then the linear mapping needs to go to the same linear mapping, and then we have the same dampen rate here. So is that all it takes, do you think? I don't know. Let's find out. My controller might be dead. Might be super dead. Yeah, too dead. Well, I guess I'm really done with the video now, aren't I? I guess no. I guess I could use the simulator. So, turn play mode off and close SteamVR. Unplug everything and see if we can use the simulator. Oh, Okay. So we can look around, we can move forwards, and can we drag this guy just like we want to? I think the position's off by a little bit, but otherwise it seems to be functioning the way that I wanted it to. Sweet. So let's... What's going on here? Why... Is it just based on starting position, do you think? Say that I positioned it, right in between the two of these. What would happen if I did that? Oh, still goes where it wants to go. I don't know why. That does change its, initial position. Let's see if I've got anything weird. I'm going to switch to pivot mode and see if the handle itself, is somewhere else. That's where the handle actually is. So if we did a tag, this is where our cubes need to be. 0. There we go. Well, that's an easy fix, and I'm glad the world works the way that I expect it to work. I'll just maximize this on play, and we'll look at it full screen. So there you have it. It's our own handle for a linear drive. Our circular drive also works great. I should really just stay in the simulator and play around. One of the reasons that I like having that 90% is that when it's at 0 here, you can still tell which direction to rotate it. You're not worried about trying to rotate it this direction because it's not straight down. It's roughly there. And if we wanted to, we could absolutely select this and then create a 3D game object like a cube. Set its scale to 0.1. Rotate it 45 degrees, bring it down like this. Can I scale you? No, I can't. But we could bring it down something similar to like that, and the handle would actually come and maybe rest on that. So, yeah, anyway. We can move that around a little bit and get a better feel for what's max and what's minimum. Does our button work still in the simulator? This is, again, stuff you should be able to... If you can test it in the simulator, doesn't that make it a lot easier? So it is activating. And here are a few of our the boxes that we have been creating. Okay, that's it for the video. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out.